Hey everyone, it's great to have you back on the channel. Tonight we delve into the dark corners of the world with 3 true, scary stories. We'll be your guide through the unsettling and the unexplained. These aren't just stories, they're glimpses into the unsettling mysteries that linger around us. We've scoured the depths of the internet, whispered with those who've witnessed the unexplainable, and pieced together the fragments of truth that have been left behind. These are the stories that keep you up at night, the ones that make you question everything you thought you knew. We're talking about the unexplained, the unexplainable, the things that go bump in the night. So grab a blanket, turn off the lights, and prepare to be disturbed. These are 3 disturbing, true, scary stories that will haunt you. Our first story takes us to the Grand Starlight Hotel, a sprawling edifice with a history as grand as its name. But behind the opulent facade, a darkness festers, concentrated in room 104. The air grows heavy as we approach, chills crawling down your spine. This isn't just a room, it's a container of echoes, a vessel for the tormented souls who met their end within its walls. Local legend whispers of a string of unexplained deaths, each more bizarre than the last. A honeymoon couple found lifeless in their bed, no sign of struggle, just a chilling serenity on their faces. A businessman, driven to madness, scratching at the walls, claiming to see shadowy figures. Each death added a new layer of dread to room 104, a creeping sense of unease that permeated the very walls. Housekeeping staff whispered of cold spots, flickering lights and disembodied voices echoing in the dead of night. But the hotel staff, bound by discretion and a fear of driving away guests, kept these stories hushed. To the outside world, room 104 remained just another room, available to anyone seeking a night's rest. If only they knew the horrors it held. One crisp autumn evening, a young journalist named Sarah decided to investigate. Drawn by the whispers and the chills, she booked herself into room 104, armed with nothing but a notepad, a camera, and a healthy dose of skepticism. She was determined to debunk the myths, to expose the truth behind the hotel's haunting reputation. The moment she stepped inside, a wave of cold air washed over her. The air was thick with the scent of stale perfume and something else, something ancient and unsettling. She tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to the room's age and the stories she'd heard. As the night deepened, the shadows in the room seemed to twist and contort, taking on menacing shapes. The temperature dropped further, her breath forming clouds in the air. And then the noises began, faint at first, almost imperceptible. A soft tapping on the window, a low hum that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Fear gnawed at the edges of her composure. The hair on the back of her neck prickled with a chilling awareness, a sense of being watched, of being hunted. This wasn't just an old building settling, something else was present in that room with her. Sleep, when it finally came, was a restless, fitful thing. Nightmares plagued her. Visions of shadowy figures with hollow eyes, their icy fingers reaching out to caress her face. Each time she woke, her heart pounded in her chest, the room freezing cold. One night, she awoke to the distinct feeling of a cold hand resting on her arm. Her eyes flew open, her breath catching in her throat. There, beside the bed, a translucent figure hovered, its features blurred and indistinct, but its eyes burned with a cold, malevolent fire. Terror, raw and primal, surged through her. She scrambled back against the headboard, her voice caught in her throat, unable to scream. The figure, its eyes locked on hers, glided closer, its form shimmering like heat haze. As it leaned in, Sarah felt an icy breath on her face, a whisper of despair and rage washing over her. And then, as quickly as it appeared, the figure vanished, leaving behind a bone-chilling cold and the lingering scent of damp earth. Sarah didn't wait for morning. Grabbing her things, she fled room 104, the echoes of that spectral whisper clinging to her like cobwebs. The once grand hotel now felt oppressive, its every corner harbouring unseen menace. She checked out, her face pale, her eyes wide with terror. The hotel staff, faces etched with knowing concern, remained silent, their silence speaking volumes about the horrors they themselves had witnessed. News of Sarah's experience spread through the town, adding another chilling chapter to the legend of Room 104. The hotel, once a beacon of luxury, fell into disrepair, its guests dwindling to a trickle of the brave or the foolish. To this day, Room 104 remains sealed, its door locked, its key nowhere to be found. A silent testament to the horrors that lie within, a chilling reminder that some places hold a darkness that can never be truly extinguished. Our next story takes us from the stately halls of a haunted hotel to the heart of bustling Los Angeles, where a young woman's disappearance would captivate the world and expose a darkness far more sinister than any ghost story. This is the unsettling and deeply disturbing case of Elisa Lam. Elisa, a 21-year-old student, was full of life, her infectious smile brightening the days of those who knew her. She had dreams, aspirations, a whole future laid out before her. But in a chilling twist of fate, her life took a dark turn during a solo trip across the United States. Her final destination was Los Angeles, a city pulsating with life and promise. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, a budget-friendly option in downtown LA, a place with its own chilling history of strange occurrences and unexplained deaths. Her initial blog posts were filled with the excitement of a young woman exploring a new city. She wrote of chance encounters, of hidden gems, of the vibrant tapestry of life that unfolded around her. But soon, the tone of her writing shifted, a subtle undercurrent of unease creeping into her words. Days turned into weeks, and Elisa's online presence, usually so vibrant and frequent, dwindled to an unsettling silence. Concern for her well-being quickly morphed into fear when she missed her checkout date at the hotel. Her family, frantic, contacted the authorities, their pleas for help echoing in the vast emptiness that had swallowed their daughter whole. As police began their investigation, they uncovered a series of security camera footage from the Cecil Hotel that would only deepen the mystery. The footage, time-stamped in the final hours before her disappearance, painted a disturbing picture of a young woman seemingly detached from reality. In the grainy footage, Elisa is seen behaving erratically in the hotel elevator. She's seen pressing multiple buttons, peering out into the hallway as if hiding from someone, her movements jerky and disjointed. At one point, she steps out of the elevator and gestures wildly in the hallway, seemingly talking to someone or something that isn't there. The footage, both eerie and heartbreaking, sent chills down the spines of seasoned detectives. It hinted at a descent into madness, a terrifying break from reality, but the cause remained a terrifying mystery. Days turned into weeks, and the search for Elisa Lam continued, her face plastered on missing person posters across the city. The mystery deepened, capturing the attention of the nation, then the world. Theories ran rampant, from foul play to a voluntary disappearance. But the truth, as it so often does, proved to be far stranger and more sinister than anyone could have imagined. The grim answer to Elisa's disappearance came not from a tip or a breakthrough in the investigation, but from a most unexpected source: the hotel guests themselves. Complaints of discoloured water and low pressure led maintenance workers to a horrifying discovery on the roof of the Cecil Hotel. There, floating in one of the massive water tanks that supplied the hotel, was Elisa's body. The discovery sent shockwaves through the city and beyond, shattering any hope of finding her alive. How did she get there? Who or what could have put her in such a place? The questions surrounding Elisa Lam's death far outnumbered the answers. The official cause of death was ruled accidental drowning, but many details remained unexplained. The lid to the water tank was heavy and difficult to close, and there was no evidence of forced entry or signs of a struggle. The circumstances surrounding Elisa Lam's death continue to haunt investigators and amateur sleuths alike. How did she, alone and seemingly disoriented, managed to access the secured rooftop of the hotel. And how did she end up in a water tank, her body undiscovered for weeks? Some point to the hotel's dark history, whispering of a malevolent presence that drove Elisa to her death. Others speculate about foul play, a cover-up, a sinister act hidden in plain sight. The truth, shrouded in speculation and unanswered questions, remains elusive. The tragic story of Elisa Lam serves as a chilling reminder that even in the bustling heart of a city, darkness can lurk in the shadows, and some mysteries, like the haunting footage of Elisa in that elevator, may never be fully explained. Now picture this. It's a damp, overcast afternoon, the kind of day that seems to suck the colour right out of the world. You find yourself standing before a towering structure of crumbling brick and shattered windows. Cranbrook Mental Hospital. This, my friends, is no ordinary abandoned building. This place is a vault of raw human suffering, its very walls echoing with the silent screams of tormented souls. For decades, Cranbrook operated as a state-funded institution, housing those deemed unfit for society. But behind its imposing facade, a much darker reality played out. Patients endured inhumane treatments, subjected to experimental procedures that would make your skin crawl. Stories of neglect, abuse, even unexplained disappearances have long circulated among the locals, painting a grim picture of life and death within Cranbrook's walls. Today, the asylum stands abandoned, a decaying monument to a dark chapter in psychiatric history. But some say the tormented souls who perished within its walls never truly left. They linger on, trapped between worlds, their anguish seeping into the very fabric of the building. And it's within these crumbling corridors, these shadowy cells, that we find ourselves venturing today, seeking to unravel the chilling mystery of the ghost of the abandoned asylum. Our story takes us to a chilly November evening. A group of friends, fueled by curiosity, decide to explore the local legend of Cranbrook. They've all heard the stories, whispered around campfires, stories of disembodied voices echoing through empty halls, of cold spots that cling to you, of shadowy figures flitting past windows. Tonight, they were determined to see for themselves. Armed with flashlights, they stepped across the threshold, the rusted hinges groaning. The air inside was thick with decay and unseen eyes. As they ventured deeper, the silence pressed in on them, broken only by their own heartbeats and scuttling creatures. Their bravado began to crumble. They started to notice subtle, eerie things. A faint humming sound emanated from the walls, rising and falling with a rhythm. Cold spots settled over them, and then there were the whispers. Soft murmurs followed them through the darkness. The group pressed on, their excitement fading into unease. They reached the main common area, now empty and moonlit. Silence was broken by the creak of the building. Suddenly, a shadowy figure darted across the doorway. Flashlights swung wildly, but the figure was gone. Had they really seen something, or was it their nerves? Panic began to set in. They needed to get out, to escape the oppressive darkness of Cranbrook. As they turned to leave, they heard it, a blood-curdling scream echoing through the halls. It was Sarah. They whirled around to see her frozen in place, her eyes wide with terror, her arm outstretched towards a darkened room. "I saw him," she whispered, her voice trembling. "He was right there, staring at me." They cautiously approached the room, their hearts pounding in their chests. The door creaked open on rusty hinges to reveal a small, bare cell. A musty odour hung in the air, the smell of decay and despair. And then they saw it. Scrawled across the far wall, written in what appeared to be dried blood, was a single word: leave. The message was clear. They were not welcome here. Turning on their heels, they fled from the asylum, their fear propelling them faster than they ever thought possible. They didn't stop running until they were well away from the grounds of Cranbrook, gasping for breath in the cold night air. They had gone to Cranbrook seeking thrills, but they left with a newfound respect for the unknown, forever marked by their terrifying encounter with the ghost of the abandoned asylum. So, there you have it, 3 disturbing, true scary stories that might just leave you sleeping with the lights on tonight. The haunting of room 104, the disappearance of Elisa Lam, and the ghost of the abandoned asylum. Each story a chilling reminder that sometimes the line between the real and the unreal is thinner than we think. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more spine-tingling tales. Sweet dreams.